Hey, this is Life with Sean Renee here, back with another video. Like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. This video is about my friend went through my phone. Let's watch the video.
So I'm about to do a story time on how I found out one of my close friends went through my phone after a drunk night of us going out. So where do I start? Basically, we had went out this one night to some happy hour thing in Brooklyn. And we got there, vibes was good, drinks was good, food was good. So as the night goes on, I started to get we both started to get real drunk, and I don't know, I didn't really notice it. You know how when you sitting down but you drinking, I don't know, it don't hit you until you really get up. So we was getting drinks because they had $5 drinks, $2 shots. We was getting mad shots, just taking shots, drinking drinks, whatever. So when we was going to leave, I was super drunk, and honestly, I remember up to once we got back to her house. I guess because she was close, her house was closer to the place that we was at, so I ended up going to her house and spending the night because, I was a little bit further and she didn't want me to go home by myself or get in an Uber by myself, so I ended up going to her house. So I remember when we got to her house, I just remember I was throwing up, felt really, really sick. So it's in bits and pieces I don't really remember. I think I was blacked out at that point. I don't know. I know I just fell asleep or whatever at her house. And when I woke up, you know how you wake up from a drunk night and you with your friends and y'all just talk about the night before or whatever, or girl, you was bugging, or girl, you was doing this, we was mad drunk, you know how that be when you go out with your friend and y'all just analyze the whole night and talk about it and laugh about it or whatever, right? So, I get up and I'm feeling super hungover or whatever, but I'm communicating, whatever, trying to talk about the night. And I automatically sense weird vibes from her. She wasn't really communicating with me how, she normally would be. So I'm okay, maybe she feels sick too. Maybe she just don't want to talk. I don't know. So I gave her space or whatever. And I think probably an hour later, she started to cook breakfast or whatever. So mind you, she slept in her bedroom and I slept in the living room. So I was kind of in and out of sleep. So when I had woke up, that's when I had seen her cooking breakfast or whatever. So at this point, while she's cooking breakfast, I was up way before she even finished cooking or whatever. So she brings a plate to me or whatever. Didn't even ask me if I wanted breakfast. Just brought me the plate and didn't say nothing. So I'm still mad confused. What did I do? I'm trying to think about the night. Did I do something last night? What did I do? I don't know. It was just weird. So I know we was both going. She lives in Manhattan, so I was in Manhattan at the time. She was coming to Brooklyn because she had a funeral to go to, and I was going back to Brooklyn too to go home. So we was gonna go together or whatever. So I just started getting ready or whatever, and then whenever she was ready, we left out to go to where we was going. So at this point, she's communicating a little bit with me more, as we on our way to get to Brooklyn or whatever, but not really that much. So I'm still thinking in my head, what the fuck? Also, I left this part out. So when I woke up, I noticed my phone wasn't near me. It was in a whole nother area, on the table somewhere. And when I went to go pick it up to go put it on a charger, it was dead. So yeah, keep that part in mind. Stay tuned for part 2.
Somebody shows them who you are after the fact, and then on top of that, your phone's in another room. That's crazy. The one thing is that when somebody starts being quiet after you just hung with them the night before, that's the time to start getting up and getting ready to go. Well, let's watch part 2.
Story time part 2 of how I found out my friend went through my phone. So I left off where we was on our way to Brooklyn. I was going home. She was going to a funeral. She wasn't really communicating. She was communicating with me, but not much. So it's still feeling weird. When you close with somebody, you know how they act. You know when something is off. You know when they're acting funny. You know how your friend acts. You could sense their vibe and pick up any little thing. So that's what it was given. I know she wasn't being herself. She wasn't really like, we wasn't interacting how we normally would on a daily basis. So it was just weird, and I felt it like 100%. So I get home, and the day goes by or whatever. I don't think I heard from her. Yeah, I don't think I heard. I think I told her I was home or something like that once I got home or something like that, and she was like, okay, whatever. But the rest of the day I didn't hear from her. I felt like I text, and then the next day I think I text her, but she didn't respond to me. Also, so my birthday's coming up, so we were planning a trip to go to Jamaica. So her and a couple of my other friends there in the chat, and we're talking, how to be when you in the chat with your friends about like what's going on with the trip, when is everybody paying in, so I noticed she's not really responding. I think actually day 2 of her not responding in the chat, I had text her, but it wasn't even in regards to the chat. I think I just had text her like saying hey or something like that, but she didn't respond to me. So when I went on Facebook, I seen she was like resharing stuff that was like along the lines of like, oh, like fake friends and be careful who you have around you. People are fake. So I'm like trying to like I still don't know. I'm still confused because it's like, all right, you're not responding in the group chat, the trip chat. You're not responding to me, and I text you separately, but you're on Facebook saying how friends is fake and be careful who you're around. People will talk about, like, I don't know what. Confused. So again, I'm still trying to be understanding. I'm like, now I'm just coming up with all types of scenarios in my head. Like, all right, so maybe, I know she just went to a funeral. Maybe she's just going through it, and whatever she posting on Facebook don't got nothing to do with me because I ain't do nothing. And like, I started to remember the night or whatever, and I'm like, nothing happened that night. Like, I ain't do nothing. So again, I gave her space. Now I'm talking to my other friends. I'm asking them like, I'm telling them the situation, and they like, nah, you think it's too hard. Like maybe she just, like you said, like maybe she just going through it. Like I know friends go through stuff. I'm not a clingy friend, so like if I don't hear from you for a day or 2 or 3, like I don't take it personal because I be busy and I be in my own thoughts myself. So I'm not that type of friend that's like, oh, I didn't hear from you in 2 days, like you fake. So it's like I'm not taking it no type of way really that she's not responding to me, but it was just starting to get a little bit weird to me that she wasn't responding in the chat or to me, but then posting stuff on Facebook. I don't know. It was just like, all right, my birthday's coming up, like we all talking in the chat, we finalizing things, you not saying nothing. So now it's becoming confusing for me because it's like we trying to progress on like what we're booking or whatever the case may be, but we're not getting a response from this one person in a chat. So I'm saying to my friend, like, should I remove her from the chat? Should we still go through with the plans and like, pay for everything and exclude her out? Like, I'm confused, and being that I'm not having no communication with her, I didn't know what to do. Stay tuned for part 3.
And she being weird, exclude her from the trip. Not to be rude, but when you have something you have to do and there's a deadline, you need to just exclude her and then figure it out later and go with your friends. What do y'all think about what I said? This is Life with Shauna Renee. More videos on the way. I will do part 3 and 4 next. Bye.